Da-da-da. Bee-ba-da-ba. Ba-doom, boom, boom. Hello, DeMarco Farr.
What is up, George? How are you, sir?
I'm doing okay. I wish I had more clarity on a few things, which I will ask you about later, particularly one Matthew Stafford and his contract situation.
What do you unclear? Oh, contracts, money.
Yeah.
Should
money.
he be paid?
I mean, listen, we'll get into that in all due time.
I mean,
we got 2.5 hours here,
I'm ready
buddy.
to fight today. I'm just kidding.
I mean, there's going to be no fighting. I'm going to let you dictate that because I sure as hell don't know.
How you doing, man?
I'm good.
I haven't seen you in a minute. You got trapped in Chicago? Is that what it was?
Almost trapped in Chicago. I almost got trapped in Indianapolis. It's a long story. Getting out of the Midwest, if it's not one of the major cities or a hub, is nearly impossible, I feel like, if you have like a delay or something.
I think I'd rather be trapped in Chicago than Indianapolis.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, and look, I love the fine folks of Indianapolis, too. It's
no doubt,
It's just airlines now have gotten very greedy. And the reality is, if you're in a medium-sized city like Indianapolis, it's very hard to get direct flights. And that caused me some grief when there were some issues on the flights.
How did you handle your delay? Did you zen it out?
I booked on a different airline, for one.
I mean, were you calm?
Because, I was annoyed, but eventually calm. I was just tired because I got up early after a late night, and I was like and then I had to sit around for 3.5 hours before the next flight. So it was just that.
Every now and then, flying commercial, and that happens. You know, it's just like a manager.
I mean, you
have
no idea how good you and John Ireland have at flying charters with these teams.
That's why I said commercial. Every now and then, when this happens, you got to treat yourself like a manager in baseball. You know, if it's just bad, you got to give it to, the guy behind the counter. You know what I mean? Let him have it for a little bit. That's why I said, how did you deal with it? Were you good?
I was fine.
Okay.
Oh, no, I didn't have an issue with any. If anything, I was it's not my first rodeo. I was actually very, the people that eventually helped me, like the Delta people.
Yeah, nice folks.
They were incredible.
Nice folks.
I needed to, get on another flight. I had to cancel my previous flight and get on a new one and find a way home. I wasn't going to get stuck. That was not happening. Because American was going to send me to a completely different part. They were going to send me to John Wayne, to Orange County. I'm like, wait, I can't go down to Orange County. Are you kidding? I got to get to LAX. My home away from home.
I mean, if you're just trying to get close, Orange County's close enough. You could rent a car.
I wanted to go to LAX.
You wanted to get here, right?
I wanted to get closer to my house. Yes.
If I'm trying to get home, if you land me in California, I'm fine. I'll get here. I'll get to LA.
No, I wanted home. LAX is my home away from home, as everyone knows.
I like it.
And I needed to go to LAX.
Yes,
I refused to go to the other airports.
See?
That's funny. DeAndre and I were just talking about flights and stuff like that before the show. And he was saying how his trip to Mexico, that was the first time he flew out of LAX. He always flies out of Palm Springs. I was like, oh, dang, that's probably expensive.
Nice.
I fly out of Palm Springs and Ontario. That was the two main ones.
I've been out of
airport,
Ontario.
Right?
Ontario has a nice airport.
Ontario's cool, but Palm Springs, smaller?
Palm Springs is a small airport, yeah.
Like Burbank, small?
It's like Long Beach?
Yeah, but kind of similar to Long Beach, yeah.
Yeah. If I can, George, if I can avoid LAX,
Long Beach
I will.
Yeah, Long Beach is okay for a Vegas trip or something,
No doubt. But if I can avoid LAX, I will. But for the
most
most
part,
part, I got to fly out of there.
It's great. I love LAX. That's the best
too.
airport ever.
And let me tell you something. If you're a Delta person like me, my God, that terminal they built is out of control. It is the nicest Delta terminal I've been in the entire country.
Oh, yeah, that's because they're all new, right? And that's the first one that they finished?
Yeah. So that one is badass. But anyway, DeMarco, I'm here. I got here yesterday. I was in studio with Cappy. I'm just exhausted. I slept 10 hours last night.
Oh.
There was no sports on that I cared about at night. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to bed. And at 9:30, I was out. Out like a light.
Great discipline by you. See, I would have said the same thing, but then movies or TV shows would have popped in. No sports. Oh, I can catch up on Game of Thrones or something.
That's funny. I was going to text you guys in the group chat because I watched a fascinating documentary last night, and it's on Netflix, and it's about this TikTok dance cult. And bringing it back to sports, it's fascinating because this whole thing's going on where they're talking about how these TikTok dancers go into this management company and then they're actually being sucked into this cult where they take all their money and stuff that they make off of their dances on TikTok.
Really?
And one of the girls that's in the cult, her sister is married to Austin Eckler. How crazy is that?
Oh, wow.
Are you talking a real cult?
Yes.
A real cult?
Yes, watch it. It's unbelievable.
Like-
It's crazy.
Wow.
Yes.
Like the TikTok dancers I see.
It's a
The
certain
clips.
group.
It's a
like,
certain group.
It's
Oh,
a little.
okay.
It's a group. It's called like 7M or something like that.
Oh.
And there's like so many people that are quote unquote managed by this group. But what's really going on is it's also like there's a religious aspect to it
Oh.
behind the scenes, but it's not on the up and up whatsoever.
Because George, I got a new one. There's this German girl that dances with her husband, and they do the same dance over and over with different clothes on.
Oh my gosh,
Right.
what if it's them?
It might. I hope it's not, because I've been watching it every day for like a month.
What's her name?
Janice, I'll look it up.
Yeah,
She's
you
German.
find
the song
out.
is German, and there's oh God, let me look.
You're
Am I
like,
part
oh,
of the
no.
cult? Hold on. Wait a minute.
Am I part of the cult? But yeah, it's crazy. And then because they kept randomly showing like the sisters in it a lot, because she's like, I just want my sister back. And they show her with her boyfriend, then he's her fiance. I was like, wait a minute, that's Austin Eckler. And I googled it, and sure enough, yes, it is.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So no, not me. I went right to bed 9:30. As a matter of fact, so I was what was I? Oh, I was watching Angels Yankees.
Yeah.
That was what I was watching. But that game was over by like 9:00. So then,
Wait, why are you? Oh, Angels. Never mind. I was gonna say, why are
Yeah.
you watching Angels Yankees?
yeah, why not? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
okay, fair enough.
You know, so I was watching that, and then I was like, okay, what else is on? So I went to the I noticed it was just MLB. I wasn't interested in watching. I don't even know if there was a hockey game on yesterday. I don't think there was. And if there was, it was the West, and I wasn't that interested. But I was so I flipped on my MLB on my DirecTV. You know, they have like an MLB like channel that shows what's available on a given day, right?
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
not the guide, but it's like it's called something like MLB something. So anyway, I went there, and there was one game left, and it was like Seattle and whoever they were playing and it was in the bottom of the ninth. So I'm like, all right, I'll put that on. And I literally started to doze off, like in and out, like of watching that game. And then I woke up, and it was the 10th inning, and Seattle won. And I saw them driving the winning run. And then I was like, okay. And then I just fell asleep for real at that point.
That's great sleep.
I
isn't
remember
it?
looking at the clock when that game ended, and it was
Yeah.
9:34.
Oh, I love sports sleeping. You know, you fall asleep at the beginning and you wake up at the end. Who
Oh,
cares
that's
about
happened
the
to me,
middle?
too. Yeah.
Love it, love it.
Yeah.
It's called Jasmine and James. That's not them, right?
I don't think so, but
Okay,
let me double
good.
check. They might be part of it because it's a bigger cult than you'd think.
Oh man.
Yeah.
See, I did. Look, just blow up the internet. That'll be. Let's just start over.
It really does.
Yeah.
It's one of the things where it started as something where these two sisters, they love
You can't
dancing
trust
and they
anything.
want to make a career out of it. And then this whole social media TikTok blow up and they start making a ton
See?
of money. But then it ends up being the thing that literally tears their family apart.
Little D, are you real?
It's crazy.
Are you a robot or something? Are you a real person?
I am a real person.
Fun show. I got my worries about you. See, I don't know. I can't trust anything, George. Everything it leads to a cult now. Even Austin Eckler's in a cult now.
No, he's not.
No wonder.
In
That's
fact,
why he's so good.
In fact, he's very supportive of his wife,
Who's in a cult.
who says that after everything you've been through with your sister, maybe you need to give her space
Wow.
and kind of let her do her thing.
Unreal. Wow.
There
Oh,
you go.
George. So, I was going to ask you, for real, this is going back to Tuesday. You missed Tuesday, right? Because you got
Yeah.
stuck. The Scott Foster, is he really the extender?
Okay.
I
let's
trust
get
your word. I will trust your word if you say it's true.
Let's get into that on the other side.
Oh, you
okay?
stink.
And I do want to talk also about this, the latest on the Lakers coaching searches. We're going to be
Oh.
talking about the NBA in that scenario. But first, don't fall for tricks, guys. All right? If you're injured in an accident, one of the first calls you're going to get is from the other person's insurance company. They're going to give you money, but you don't want to fall for the trick. They're offering you money to replace or repair your vehicle, but will that cover your medical bills? What about the lost wages if you missed work? Safe to say the answer is no. So here's the deal. You get into an accident, you got to call Jacob right away. Call my guy Jacob and Ronnie at 844-24-JACOB. That's 844-24-JACOB. Tell them Sedano, Mason, and the crew at 710 sent you. You shouldn't have to pay any money out of pocket to fix your car, go see a doctor, and if you're missing work, in turn, making your paycheck less than normal. Don't do this to yourself. You got to call Jacob. You know who to call, and it's Jacob at 844-24-JACOB. That's 844-24-JACOB. Again, tell him Sedano, Mason, the crew at 710 sent you. Jacob will deal with the insurance company, help you with the rental car, schedule your doctor's appointments with nothing coming out of pocket. I've told you a bunch of times recently, one of my wife's friends got into a car accident, First person we told her to call, Jacob, just like I tell you. So we tell our friends to call Jacob, and you're part of our family, and you're a part of our friendship group here. And it's not just the circle of trust, even beyond the circle. We're going to extend the circle to everyone. You get into an accident, just call Jacob, man, at 844-24-JACOB. A lot of attorneys say they'll fight for you. You call Jacob, he'll win for you. So call him at 844-24-JACOB. Tell him Sedano and the crew at 710 sent you. That's 844-24-JACOB, or visit him online at calljacob.com.
Not a call.
I love the Muppets.
Yeah.
Me too.
Kermit the Frog to me was my guy growing up. I loved Kermit the Frog.
I miss the. Don't you miss
Speaking-
those days when
Yes.
your whole world was the Muppets? Come on.
I know that you guys make fun of me because I'm obsessed with documentaries, but there's a really good Jim Henson documentary coming
Oh,
out
of
this
course there
weekend
is.
that Ron Howard produced.
Oh, well, I'm sure
See,
it's
listen
great.
to this.
Ron Howard.
Listen to this. Isn't this so funny? Isn't it great?
Come on. Come on. I love it.
That's funny.
Oh, man.
I love it.
That's good. That's great.
I'm easily amused. Sorry.
Wow. All right.
So, DeMarco, you
Yeah.
asked me if Scott Foster is truly the extender.
Is that real? That's a real thing.
I mean,
Like, we all know this?
it's not real, though. Like, everyone it's like perception.
Because Minnesota did win.
Right, but there's also never been sweeps before in both conference finals, like ever. Like it was,
Okay.
like the chances of that happening are pretty slim to begin with. And by the way, every one of these games has been incredibly tight.
Oh, fun. Yes. And competitive and down the stretch. You can't blame any official for how the game ended.
So eventually, like if you're playing games that tight, one of them is going to go the other way. You know what I mean?
No
Like,
doubt. Absolutely. So, George, what was the big deal? So, the
So
conspiracy theory was
that he's the extender. Okay, that's
two championship or conference championships that end in sweeps. So you have 8 days of no basketball. That seems to be the worst thing that these guys ever heard of. What were they scared of?
I mean, I think they're just worried about that because there's only so much content you can produce before the finals.
Oh,
You know what
okay.
I
Go
mean?
ahead. Yeah.
So here are the actual numbers for Scott Foster, okay? When Scott Foster works either games 4 through 6 of an NBA playoff series, which is when you're looking to close out a series, because obviously if you're already at game 7, there's no extension. It's over. You know what I'm saying? And then the first 3, there is no extending the series. It's just you got to play those. You know what I mean? So games 4 through 6 in a playoff series in his career, okay? When a team is looking to close, okay, these are the numbers. He has been in 60 games in that scenario in his career as an official, okay? So again, games 4 through 6 of a playoff series, when a team is looking to close out the series, the team looking to close in those 60 instances that Scott Foster has been a referee on the game, the team that's ahead already is 41-19. Like, that's more than double the amount of time. So over 66% of the time, DeMarco, the team that's already winning actually closes out when he's the referee. The problem is this, because he's been in so many of these games that the 19 are the ones that people cling on to.
Okay, thank you. It seems like he's the extender because
Correct.
he's been there so many times.
Correct.
Okay.
Because he's been an official for 20 years or 25 years.
My next question was, is he assigned those games or is that just his?
Well, because the best officials, the later you get in the playoffs,
You get to the best officials.
correct. You
Okay,
get to the
makes
guys
sense.
with the best and the most seniority.
Okay, I'll put that to bed. The extender. Because that really had me like tripping. Is it like right in our faces? This guy is put here to extend series and there's actual stats behind it. Now you just disproved it. Done. I'll never
Right.
say it
And
again.
by the way, for those that are looking for the gambling numbers on that, the team that again is looking to close out, the overall number was 41-19 in the 60 appearances with Scott Foster in them.
Yeah.
The team that was leading also won more against the spread, 33-26-1. Now much closer in that scenario, but nonetheless, the wins and losses, it's 2-1.
Wow. I love how we have to do that now. We have to, talk to the gamblers
Debunk
too.
everything?
No, talk to the gamblers too. You know
Oh,
what
yeah, I mean, listen,
Right.
it's a big thing.
We
It's
gotta
a
add
big
that
part
in
of
there.
the experience.
Right.
It is a big part of the experience.
I
But
love it.
I thought you meant debunking stuff. But
No,
yes, we
yeah.
have to do that too.
That too. You just debunked that. Good. So move on. What's wrong with JJ Redick as a head coach?
I have no problems with JJ Redick as a
good.
head coach. If he were indeed the head coach.
Well, people that do have a problem with JJ Redick being the Lakers head coach, what is the problem?
Because he's never been a head coach
Okay.
and he's never been an assistant.
I mean, everyone that makes the jump to head coach has never been a head coach at some point in their career.
Correct. But
Yeah.
never been an assistant, I think, is the thing that is a sticking point for some people.
Is that unheard of? Guys going
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, I mean, is there
Jason
another
Kidd?
Jason
Jason Kidd never had been an assistant before getting his first 2 head coaching jobs.
He's pretty good.
He's doing great in Dallas right now. Steve Kerr had never been an assistant. or
That's
a
the
head
other guy.
coach.
Thank you. I mean, look, there's a better chance of it working out than not working out, right? I mean,
Well, I don't know about that, but I would just say that. I mean, I don't know. He's he really gets basketball in a really.
That's what I'm saying. It's 50-50 no matter who you hire. I mean, you're going to be good, you're going to be bad, you're going to be mediocre, whatever. But with J.J. Redick, he clearly knows the game. He's played it. He can talk it. Let's see if he can coach it.
A lot of respect from the guys he's played with in his 15-year NBA career.
Yeah.
And I think that there's just guys who have that. You know what I mean? Like they're kind of built to be that. I'll give you a perfect example. I hadn't even thought of
Luke
this
Walton.
Not the greatest example, but nonetheless.
Okay.
But he had already been an assistant. I'll give you an example that I completely forgot to talk to Cappy about. And Lindsay and DeAndre, I've never even mentioned this to you. I bet you I could find it, okay? I want to say it was 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. Nonetheless, I am doing a NBA playoff game between the Sixers and the Heat on ESPN. And the Sixers won the game, and I was on the call with J.J. Redick. And I don't remember who the play-by-play person was right now. It was either Dave Pasch or Ryan Rucco. And I'm interviewing Joel in the postgame. Joel Embiid is the player of the game. And I made a comment to Joel on camera. Hey, your old teammate, J.J. Redick, said X, Y, and Z. And then he's like, oh, yeah, he's great. He should be a head coach someday.
Wow.
Blah, 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 blah. And then jokingly, when we went off camera, he said he could be a head coach right now. You know what I'm saying? It's like, because he said one day.
Embiid said that to you?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So, like, J.J. Redick.
That moves the needle some, right? That's Embiid.
J.J. Redick has the respect of star players around the sport.
Or at least Embiid, If we
clearly
take
LeBron, I don't think LeBron just does a podcast with anybody.
See, that's the thing. I mean, with the whole LeBron situation, I don't know what to think about that. It's just weird. I mean, hearing like LeBron endorse someone, it just
I know he hasn't
strange.
endorsed anyone.
Not endorse. I mean, kind of. He kind of put his stamp on it.
He has not publicly said a word. Actually.
Going on that podcast, talking basketball.
I mean, they're doing a podcast. It's a business venture.
I mean, but you know what that was.
I mean, maybe
that was kind of like an audition. That's LeBron giving him a stamp of approval. When he pulled out that clipboard and let me draw up the play, that's him and JJ doing basketball stuff like they would do on the floor. I mean, that was clearly coach-player stuff. I mean, didn't you see that as a stamp of approval?
I think here's what I would say about LeBron and coaches. I think LeBron, in a perfect world, doesn't think he needs a coach because he's probably smarter than all the coaches he's ever had at some point or another.
Right.
But I think he needs the coach because he needs someone to do all the coach things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he doesn't have time to worry about rotations.
No.
You know what I mean? But and also just because he doesn't need a coach, and I say that out of respect. I'm not saying that disrespectfully towards LeBron. But the other 11 guys or 14 guys on the roster need a coach. You know what I mean?
Oh, no doubt. Yeah.
So
that's what I mean. Like with LeBron and Redick doing that thing. That's like when LeBron says it, well, this guy could coach me or the team that I need to have. When Embiid says it, well, he can coach basketball, period. That does make me raise an eyebrow. That's a guy that's disconnected. Did they ever play together?
They played in Philly together.
How long were they together?
I want to say a year or two.
A year or two. Well, he's been there in the same locker room with the guy. See, that means a lot to me. That makes me raise an eyebrow. That would push it beyond 50%. Like I said, it's 50-50 no matter who you hire.
2 years. He went after his Clippers days. He went to Philly for 2 years.
No doubt. Okay, I hear the same thing about, oh my God, what is his name? He's the GM in San Francisco, the 49ers. John Lynch.
They
said he's been
He had never had any experience being a
But
general manager.
they said he was able to do this when he was a player. He was that smart. So
Right.
they're not shocked at his success.
There you go.
Certain guys can do it. Why not J.J. Redick?
Why not?
Why not Rajon Rondo as an assistant?
Perhaps. And by the way, there are conflicting reports on this whole J.J. Redick situation. So let's get to some of that on the other side. Then, DeMarco, I want to ask you a couple of baseball questions because I feel like as a professional athlete, I would love to get your opinion on some
Yes,
things
I'm
that
happy
transpired.
Angel Hernandez is gone. Oh,
No, that
never mind.
wasn't
That's
not
it? Oh, okay.
By the way, Angel Hernandez, I have an Angel Hernandez story too. So
Do
I
you
can get to
really?
that. Oh, yeah. Plenty of them, actually. We'll get to all that. Stick around. DeMarco's in for Cappy, 710 ESPN.
It's easy to love me now.
Oh, yeah.
Would you love me if I was down and out? But you still have love for me, girl. It's easy to love me now.
Hey, don't forget the Waba Grill, Sedano, and Cap 4 o'clock hours coming up on 710, presented by Waba Grill. Kids eat free at Waba Grill. Bring your kids in for a free chicken or tofu mini bowl with any entree purchases. Weekdays after 4 p.m. and all weekend long. Restrictions apply.
How about if I pay for the kid and you let me eat free? How about that?
I don't know how that works. You'll have to take it up with
Why
management.
is it always kids eat free? They don't even finish the food.
Sir, this is a Waba Grill.
Wait, speaking of that, I want to say something that I saw today.
What?
I saw this story about Bill Gates, who is a billionaire, right?
Oh, yeah. Many
So-
times over.
I saw this story in Yahoo that says that he has a McDonald's gold card,
Good for him.
which gives him free food for life anywhere in the entire world. Why does somebody who has as much money as Bill Gates need free McDonald's? Like, why do all the rich people who have all the money get the free stuff?
Welcome to the world.
But he's the last person
I'm
that
not
needs
hating
a.
on Bill
I'm
because
not
he's
hating
got
on
a
him.
gold card.
I'm just saying, what does he need it
He
for?
put in the effort. He got the gold card. Let the man
But
live.
he's the last person that needs it.
I don't disagree, but I would say that that's just the reality of
This is
the
true.
world. You know, he probably knows the McDonald's CEO or knew him whenever, or something like that, and that's how they ended up with that.
If
Warren Buffett pays for his McDonald's Egg McMuffins with his little change in his little cup holder in his car every day.
I get it, yeah.
I just think
That's
it's so
Warren
weird.
Buffett, little different.
Very weird.
One guy lives
Nuts.
in the Pacific Northwest, the other guy lives in Nebraska.
This is
What can I
true.
say?
Wow.
That's life. Listen, I'll just say this. I don't think anyone's opposed to I know a billionaire. I am legitimately going to tell you this story. I will leave the person's name out. I know a billionaire that I had this conversation with him once. I said, what is the lowest denomination you would bend over to pick up if you saw on the sidewalk, like walking down the street? And he legit looked at me and he said, a penny. And I'm like, no way. And he's like, 100%. And I'm like, all right. So that goes to show you, just because you're a billionaire doesn't mean you don't like freebies
Wait,
or you don't like
who
things
passes-
that you find or whatever.
Who
Yeah.
passes up money on the street? Like if you saw a nickel, you wouldn't bend over to pick it up?
I would, yes.
Did anybody in this room pass up money?
I bet you
Never.
people.
Never, right?
I wouldn't pick up a penny or a nickel.
What? Why?
I don't know.
Wait, then what? How's that? Wait, why not?
Right, that just killed your argument.
Just because I don't like change.
Okay, well, whatever.
I don't
We're
like
not passing
change.
the money.
$1 I would.
I think that's so disrespectful if you pass up money on the street.
I'd pick up
Yeah.
a quarter, but because I don't know, most
A quarter?
people were
You just
like,
said you didn't like change.
I don't like change, but quarters you can use them for like the toll booth and stuff like that. Well, actually, that's not a thing here, so
Yeah.
I don't know. But no, you could use them for the
I
car wash.
thought you were going to say we can use them at a payphone. We don't have those
No,
either.
you can use them for the car wash. You can use them,
Wow.
or like when you're at the grocery
See?
store and it's like
Won't
you
pick
got
up 6 cents,
you
but
got
Bill
like
Gates
20
can't have a card.
I'm just saying, Bill Gates doesn't need it.
He doesn't.
Listen, when I used to be a waitress,
But
Yeah.
do you get the irony of you could probably use an extra 5 cents or 10 cents, but
right.
you did not choose to pick it up?
well, I mean, I guess I'm just, it depends on the situation because I often will leave my change like outside on the top of like a ledge or something because I don't like having change in my wallet. And I figure there may be somebody who needs it for something.
Come
Yes,
to
and
America.
by the
we
way-
throw away money.
Grant in L.A., who just tweeted in the Sedano and Cap Circle of Trust, Sedano's secret billionaire who would pick up a penny
Yeah.
is for sure LeBron James. Here's what I would say. LeBron James, notoriously frugal, but
Yeah.
he is not the billionaire I'm referring to.
Wait,
Okay.
did you see last week? I forget which game it was. It was the Celtics Pacers game, and LeBron was at an EYBL game, and which was for his for
Bryce,
for
his
his
son.
team. No, it wasn't for his son. It was for his team, his AAU team that he is.
I thought Bryce is playing on that team.
I don't remember what the case was. I don't think Bryce was there, but anyway, that doesn't matter. He was watching the game, the NBA game, on like an iPad or like a little tiny laptop, and it was an illegal stream. He wasn't paying to watch it. It was one of those.
It was Stream
crack-
East. It was
yeah.
Stream East.
Yeah, and everyone was like, "Man, really?"
That's
First of all,
too cheap.
I've told the story, though, that Dwayne Wade told me this story that LeBron is legit the guy that if you have dinner with him, will bust out the calculator on his phone to split up the tip.
Love it. That's just smart. I mean, cheap is one thing, but you're not going to do something illegal
They-
to avoid
and
pain,
Brian
right?
The
Windhorst
legal stream was pretty funny.
That's beyond cheap.
Yeah, and
That's
Brian
criminal.
Windhorst told me the story that when he, back in the day, his first stint with the Cavs, that you'd hear like the music blaring in the locker room and it'd be off LeBron's phone. And then you'd hear commercials on Spotify or whatever
From
it was. that
Pandora,
he was-
yes, I can
Pandora,
confirm.
because he was too cheap
100%.
to pay for the one that wasn't
Yup.
without
Love it.
commercials.
He only
Respect.
played for the free one.
I
Yeah.
respect
See?
that.
He's rich, and he's going to stay rich.
So that's the point, is that rich people stay rich because they don't pay for stuff.
And they pick up pennies.
Pick up pennies.
There you go.
Yeah.
They don't leave it like nickels on the ground. My
There
man.
you go.
Hey, George, this is not picking sides. I hate doing this. I'm just watching highlights of Luca. Do you like watching Luca play basketball?
I do. I think he is a basketball savant, to use a word that we use here a lot. He is as talented an offensive player as I've seen.
Okay, so productiveness aside, effectiveness aside, just forget.
You don't like his whininess.
No, I love it. I'm just talking pure games the way it looks. Would you rather watch him or LeBron play?
Oh, I'd rather watch LeBron play.
From an
Particularly
artistic-
if
from an
I get
artistic
them
standpoint.
in their primes, I would much rather have LeBron. People don't remember what prime LeBron looked like. The athleticism was unlike anything we'd ever seen from someone built like that.
Okay, see, when I have like the LeBron highlights I have, it's mostly muscle stuff. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, I can't believe you did that. You know? But with Luca, it's like, ooh, that was pretty. Ooh,
No, right.
You know?
They're different styles. I mean,
Yeah,
Luca is more plotting, is the way I would call it. But I would say both from an IQ standpoint in the same stratosphere.
What about
Yeah.
Kyrie or Luca? I love watching Kyrie play.
I think Kyrie is more aesthetically pleasing,
Yeah.
is what I would call it. But I think Luca's a better player than Kyrie offensively.
You know what I hate about Kyrie? You can't openly like him.
Yeah, you can.
Why
I
is
love
that?
Kyrie.
Not because there are people that hate him. You know what I
Doesn't
mean?
matter.
I get that, but
Yeah.
I think, look, I will
I mean,
say
there are
this.
people that really hate him.
No, I
really hate him.
and understandably so.
Yeah.
Like I get that too. Here's what I would say: I am a big believer in, when the Kyrie stuff was happening, particularly the most recent turn of events, the one that led to his ouster in Brooklyn, I was, with the stuff he posted on social media, I was front and center. Like, this is a disgrace. He should apologize. There's no excuse for this. Like, you can't claim ignorance on this.
Yeah.
And he was doing those things. And what I'll say to you is this. I don't know. I don't know. I guess he's never openly or publicly apologized for that stuff. But I will tell you this, having been around Dallas a little bit this season, he has grown up in a big, big way. And John and I had this conversation during Crosstalk yesterday, which was, he is the leader of that team. Like, every guy on that team to a man will tell you that.
I have no doubts. You can tell.
And not only because he's been through more stuff than them, like, on the court, but I think because he's been through what he's been through in his NBA life, again, a lot of it self-inflicted. Kyrie was very immature for a very long time, even well before the stop in Brooklyn.
Oh, no doubt.
mean-
But even with this, it takes too long to defend him, to get around to saying, like, I like the guy.
Okay, but what I would say is ultimately I try not, even as much as I ripped him during this time of, a year or two ago or whatever it was now, I'm still a big believer that you can grow up. You know what I'm saying? And
No
you
doubt.
can mature.
yeah, he was
and-
drafted when he was a teenager.
Anybody that's a Meta World Peace fan knows about growing up.
He played in 8 games in 1 year at Duke.
Yeah.
He was drafted when he was a teenager.
I just got a funny text that I can't read on
What
the air,
happened?
but it's hilarious.
What happened? What's it about?
It's sort of tangentially about the Lakers.
Oh.
Let's just leave it at that.
Uh-oh.
But nonetheless, now everyone's going to
It
be
wasn't
wondering
Bronny, was it?
and texting me about everybody's going to be tweeting me about what I just said. But anyway, here's what I would say about Kyrie. And I'm a big believer in this. I don't want to judge someone by their worst moment. Okay. And look, there's a sliding scale to that.
Well,
Because,
it depends on how bad that moment is.
okay, but
Yeah.
what I'm clearly, like, murder.
Yeah, Aaron
that's different.
Hernandez, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there is a sliding scale. Okay.
Right, right.
But I think, and it felt like what he claimed about the stuff that transpired at the end there in Brooklyn was ignorance. And that I can believe, But again, as a public figure, you need to be better than that and smarter than that. It's the reality of what is asked of being someone with that kind of platform. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, true.
And I think because of what he learned, because he saw how toxic he was radioactive in a way that he had never thought he would ever be. And this was it for him, I think, potentially. And Mark Cuban in Dallas kind of saved his career. And I think that he also has a young family now, right? In a way where I think all those things combined kind of like said, okay, you know what? I got to learn from this experience. And I think he has learned from that experience. And I know that may be an unpopular thing to say at times to some people. And I understand, again, why that would be unpopular in a lot of cases. I do. Because, again, I think a lot of the stuff he's done has been self-inflicted.
Oh, yeah. And
so
people
that's
can't
it. Like,
forgive
I get it.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I think, though, first of all, he did apologize, and I feel like his
No, he didn't
Sometimes
really
that's not
apologize.
enough.
He did. He
Yeah.
posted on Twitter.
Not really.
No, see, that's...
Not really.
I mean, didn't
no,
he?
no, Lindsay,
Can you
not
really
really
post an apology on Twitter? Is that a real
I'm just
apology?
saying, I feel
Yeah.
like, I don't think he, I don't think he realized how much harm that he was doing by posting that. I really don't think he did.
Right,
You
but
ever got a
ignorance
marriage-
is not something you can
You're
claim.
right.
in
You're
that
right. You're
scenario.
100% right. However, I think to your point about growing up, I thought I was so happy for him after they beat the Nuggets, and after that in that post game press conference. First off, in the walk off interview, when he said, you know, when I was younger, I kind of took making it to the conference finals for granted, and I've grown up a lot, blah, 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 blah. And then he made it a point to say in the press conference how much he's learned and how much he's grown and how big of an influence Luca has been on him, not only as a player, but also as a father and as a man. And I was like,
No, he's grown up. There's no question about that. And by the way,
That's being better. You said
Correct.
be better at that. Yeah, that part of it. Yeah, that's better.
correct. But again, the stuff he posted on Instagram, like the apology post on Instagram, okay, yes, but I would have liked to have seen, like, if I'm him, he's very vocal, okay? I would have liked, if I were his, like, PR crisis team, what I would say is, don't do it, like, I don't need you to do it at a press conference, because that can go a million different ways. And I get the print version of it, but let's put out a video so we can see the contrition. You know what I mean? I think that goes a long way, in my opinion. And I have now been in sports for 24 years. I've seen a lot of guys say a lot of dumb stuff that they've had to apologize for. You know what I'm saying?
Remember when Tiger had to do that press conference a long time ago?
That was a terrible idea. An actual press conference is a terrible idea. But I think there's other ways to go about your apology that will strike a chord with the people you affected. You know what I'm saying?
why do you think that Shohei didn't take any questions at his conference?
Right,
with
exactly.
Ife?
Exactly.
Tiger looked like he had a gun on him. Didn't
Oh
he?
my God.
Exactly. So my point is
crazy.
this. I think long story. I mean, listen, Lindsay, you know this, and DeAndre, I believe you might have been on the show already. If not, you were definitely at the station. I was advocating for the Lakers to deal for Kyrie
Right,
Irving.
and they should have, and it's probably one of their biggest regrets over the past 2 seasons because that was the lowest that he's been
His
in his
value
career.
was as low as
Right.
it ever was
And they
going to
should
be.
have
You weren't
bought
going to have to
high
give
on-
up a
or bought
lot.
You know
lower,
what I'll
yeah.
never forgive Kyrie for?
And by the way, you're
Those-
listening to KSB in Los Angeles, but go ahead.
Those shoes he's wearing.
Oh my
I
God,
will
his
never
shoes are
forgive him
great.
for those.
I love him.
Come on, man. He's
I-
wearing
Oh, no,
moccasins.
his shoes are nice.
No,
I like his shoes.
The
What?
moccasin
You like
shoes?
them?
You're
Oh,
right.
Oh,
I
the
love
mock.
them.
I thought you
I
meant
love
the
them.
Really?
sneakers.
We're
do.
done.
They are. So they are sneakers, George, but they're moccasins. They got little fringe on them, and they're paying tribute to
Come
his
on.
heritage. Listen, I was
He's
going to
rocking
send those.
moccasins.
I was going to send those to DeAndre and be like, should I get these? Because I love Kyrie's shoes. I think he makes of all the shoes, of all the basketball players' shoes. I feel like he has the best ones.
You ever seen the Iron Sheik? Remember those wrestling
Yes.
boots?
Yeah. Yes.
Somebody should come out
The
with shoes
little
like that then. Okay? If that's what we're
Hey,
doing.
you do you, right?
Right.
Right, you
Wow.
do you. Whatever makes you happy.
Galoshes.
Tassels.
Tassels, right?
Or
They're
tassels.
fringe.
That's
No,
it.
they're fringe. It's
Whatever
fringe.
they are. Come on.
Yeah, though tassels is right.
Two totally different things. Fringe
Wow.
and tassels. You know?
No.
Tassels like what you put on a graduation
Just
cap.
put on some Chuck Taylors and play basketball, man. Come on.
Yeah, nobody's
Give me a break.
Come
nobody's
on.
balling in Chuck
Don't
Taylor's,
hurt,
bro.
man.
You know
That's how people's feet used to get hurt. Okay.
Man, try wearing those like Disney and walking
Heck
around
no.
all day.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I do think that I think he's come a long way. Is what
Yeah.
I would say. So I would say that.
Be a heck of a story if they won. Heck of a story.
Yeah, I agree. And I think he's in the right role now
Yeah.
because he is a great number 2 player. Like, he is. So, and I think that he was very immature when he played with LeBron, hence why he wanted out of Cleveland. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think he's had to go through this wild journey to get himself to where he's at now. And now he's finally in a place where you look at him and you're like, okay, yeah. Like, this is what we expected from you a long time ago.
If Dallas wins, does Cuban get a ring?
Yeah, he's still part owner.
He's still part
He
owner.
still
Okay.
owns like
Okay.
20-something% or 30% or
Okay.
something. He sold the majority stake.
It seems it might doesn't it kind of seem like it's their year?
I think they're going to win it all.
It might be.
I hope they do.
It seems like it's Dallas's year for some
But
reason.
I heard you're rooting for the Celtics.
Me? No. I take
Don't
that back.
wait a minute.
I take that back.
You
I
did.
take
You
it back.
did say that the other day. Don't lie.
I said I'm kind of rooting for the Celtics. Never happened in my life. And this is the one. Okay, first of all, I said it to Jacob and Ronnie, and like he almost hit me. He really did. He almost hit me at a bar. It was crazy. But the other thing, I said this might be the most likable Boston club I've ever seen in my lifetime. Like, what's to really hate about them?
I don't see what's to like about
When
them.
we were talking about Bill Walton the other day, and they mentioned that '86 Celtics team, I hated those guys, every single one of them. I couldn't stand them. But what's not to like about Boston this year besides the colors they're wearing? Exactly.
I mean,
See?
I don't like.
Right.
I'm just saying, like, I don't think they're likable.
There's no
they're
Danny
just kinda,
Ainge there.
Yeah, but I don't think that
they're
they're
boring.
likable.
Are they boring?
I think they're kind of boring.
Okay, well, what's not to like? I mean, would you rather have loud and stupid or, good and quiet?
Yeah, I don't look. I don't really dislike anybody in the NBA. Like, in that sense, like I don't know. I do have a funny Joe Mazzulla story actually. Now that you brought it up, Joe Mazzulla, who we all know loves The Town, that is like his thing. I don't know if you know that, DeMarco. He watches The Town very regularly. The movie The Town. Are you familiar?
The Ben Affleck movie.
Correct.
Oh, I love that movie. Yeah.
So I'm interviewing him.
Charlestown, Mass, right? Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm interviewing him the other day, and before I start interviewing him, we tape it. And he says to me, there's another guy at ESPN that looks just like you that covers the NBA. And I said, really? I said, yeah, maybe. I don't know. He's like, yeah, I was out the other day and I was yelling. I was like, George, George. And then he didn't turn around. I was like, well, that's definitely not George. And I'm like, I go, here in Indianapolis? He's like, yeah, I was just walking from a restaurant. I saw someone that I thought was you and it wasn't you. And I'm like, well, maybe it was me and I just had my earbuds in and I couldn't hear you. And he's like, maybe. He's like, but I don't think he had earbuds on. I'm like, okay, well, then it wasn't me. It's just somebody else. But so to your point, this Celtics team, I know Lakers fans don't want to hear this, they are more likable than those teams for sure. I don't think there's any question about that.
The old school Celtics, yeah.
Or even forget about the old school. I would even go back to those. And I say this as someone who is like friendly with this guy. Even those Paul Pierce teams, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're not like overly likable necessarily.
Right. I think I rooted against them constantly. Like, even if the Lakers were out or my best teams were out, if the Celtics with Paul Pierce and if they were still in, I'm not rooting for the Celtics. But right now, I don't have a problem with them winning. This is the first time in my life I've ever felt
if
that
they
way.
don't win this time, it would be wild because they have had the easiest path of anyone that I can recall.
I think I'd like to see the Mavs Celtics for a championship. That might be fun.
I was saying before this round ended, I was like, whoever comes out of the West is winning because the Celtics are a bunch of frauds. They've had such an easy path, to your point, George. I don't think they've been really, really tested in the playoffs yet.
They have not. They played a Miami
Cleveland.
team with no Jimmy
Right.
Butler
They
and
played
missing
Cleveland with no Donovan Mitchell and no Jared Allen.
Yeah.
And they barely got by the
And
Pacers.
Tyrese Halliburton got
Right.
hurt, and the
Exactly.
Pacers played them very close in almost every game.
What was their record in the regular?
64 and something or other. I
that's
don't know,
not
whatever the difference
That's
is.
not luck.
No, they're
pretty
good,
darn
but
good,
but
yeah.
the East is easier
Way
than the
easier.
West this year.
I keep hearing that.
It's
I think I've
easier.
heard that for most of my life. The East is
Most of
always
your life
easier.
has been true. Last year was not
Yeah.
true. Last year the East was better than the West.
Because the Bucks were better. 76ers
Yeah.
Well,
were
there was
better.
more
The
depth.
Heat
There was more depth
yeah.
in the East last
Well,
year
we'll see.
than there was in the West.
We'll see. I mean, look, I'm not a Celtics fan. I just don't hate them this year. Is
I
that
feel like
is
you
that
should-
fair?
Well, are you a Lakers fan?
Yes, of
Then
course.
you should always hate the Celtics, right? Because you don't want them. You want to have more championships.
No, see,
than them.
I'm just not going to hate somebody. You know,
Well, I feel like
this is my life.
I'm
you
neutral
know?
to this
I can do
rivalry.
what I want.
Yeah.
This is not a cult.
You're not in the anti-Celtics cult. I'm neutral to this rivalry, but from what I understand, most Lakers fans seem to really hate the Celtics.
All right, so I want to read a tweet in the Circle of Trust before we go to break here. It's from DNA KT, and I don't know how to pronounce that on Twitter, but he says, hands off Kyrie. He's grown, he's changed. If he was not black, this would not have been true. Hold on, let me finish reading. If he was not black, this would have been treated differently. But as a black man, a double standard always has to exist. Hands off Kyrie. He was wrong with his anti-Semitism, but let's move on. He has hands off Kyrie. Let him live. I feel like that's kind of what I was saying. Not necessarily like that necessarily, but I was like, he's grown up. Like,
If
it's
he was
fine.
not
I'm ready.
black.
I don't want to judge him from his worst moment, and I'm willing to say, okay, like he's grown up. Would I have liked him to have done things differently? Sure. That's all I'm saying.
Fair. I mean, I think anybody who made those comments or statements would be rightfully vilified, right? Or are they talking about the redemption part of it?
So Coach Dave Miller is now texting me.
Yeah.
Says, hate to pull for those of you who have never coached, there is not an easy path when you get this far. Hate to pull the you've never coached mantra to some of your people on air today. It's not lucky or the easiest path when you get this far in the NBA playoffs. Trust me on that. Yes and no is what I would say.
He just slapped all you guys.
No,
but again, if you're not playing a team's best version of themselves and why they got there, is that really true?
I agree with you, Lindsay. I agree. It doesn't take away from them being great. They were great all season, to DeMarco's point. But two things can be true at once, Coach Dave Miller, which I respect you a ton. But they've had an easy path. It's fine. They've also alluded to the fact that their path has been easier because of injuries, but they've also then couched said statements by saying we've also had injuries, which they have. Porzingis was not available for a lot of their time, so they have also dealt with injuries. But I would say Porzingis is their third best player, sometimes even their fourth best player, not the first best player.
Or like the first and the second.
In some cases, right.
Maybe if he doesn't want to use the word easy, you could definitely make the case that the Celtics have not been challenged the way that the Mavs have.
100% the West is harder. There's no question. And he has now texted me, your point is well taken. We see, this is why I like you, Coach.
Yeah, we talk things out. Now, if that were Cappy, you would not be able to talk things out.
Oh, no.
It would be over.
Nice.
Beto, shut up.
Wow. Did
Oh,
Cap
man.
really say that? Wow.
We got to talk. We're having Beto tomorrow. I need to find out how he feels about this whole getting, having to leave the group text because Cappy was ripping him. I mean, Cappy really just went at it.
Cappy kicked him out of the group.
Do you know this story, DeMarco?
No. What
Oh,
happened
we're going to
with
get
Beto
to
and
this
Cap? Oh, no.
on the other side. We're getting to this on the other side. Plus, I want to talk some baseball with you because the Dodgers just played the Mets, and one of the guys who got tossed, did he get tossed from the game when he threw his glove in? Yes. So he made a comment afterwards that went viral that I think might have been misconstrued, but there's a language barrier. This is a complicated story. So we'll do some of that on the other side after we get to the complicated story about Cappy and Beto. So there you go. Double complications coming up in just a second. Stick around for that. 710 ESPN. Oh, yeah.
Historic day, my man. You have your laptop open, right?
I mean, I'm on a desktop right now, sure.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That's just historic day.
Why?
The number one hit was Funky Town in 1980.
Well, that too. Just everything else that's going on in the world and in the news. Historic day. We'll just leave it there. Anyway, wow.
I love Funky Town.
Me too. Big time.
It's this song to me transcends eras. I don't care what anybody says.
You could put this out now.
I love it.
This would play now,
Oh,
wouldn't
this
it?
would be a great TikTok cult dance
Right.
song.
This would play right now.
I'd be
if
doing
you put
all
it
the
out.
dances for it.
How would your dance be to this, DeMarco?
Yeah. There was a trend
TikTok.
like, how do you dance in the 80s, but how would you dance in like the 70s?
Oh wow. Let me
Like to
think
this
about
song,
that.
how would you dance?
Probably like break dancing or something.
Show-
I don't
show
know.
us.
I'm not gonna do
You're on
it. I'm not
camera.
gonna dance for you. What's going on here?
Dance.
Anyway, come on.
It's a trend on
I
TikTok.
love this song though.
Show me your dance from the 70s.
I am not gonna dance. George, do you dance?
Sure.
No, like, do you dance?
He can cut a rug.
Yeah.
Wait,
not?
no. Let me ask you, can you dance?
Sure.
Does that sound... that doesn't sound right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Lil D, can you dance?
Oh yeah, come on.
See?
man.
So did you
Funch-
call him Little D because you're actually bigger than him?
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
well,
he's big
when
dog.
I'm here, he's Little D.
No. Let's get this straight.
Yeah.
Cap says that whenever DeMarco and me
I
are
told
in,
Cap
he
to tell you
says
that.
DeMarco is Big D. and
When I'm
Little D.
here, he's Little D. I'm
Oh, I
Big
see.
D. And then when he's Big D every other day. Funch, can you dance?
Yeah, sure, a little bit.
Okay.
A little bit.
I
Lindsay,
love this.
Can you
I
dance?
can dance.
You can dance? Okay.
I started
All right.
dancing when I was like 3 and did tap and ballet.
Okay, just checking.
Heck yeah, I can dance. I think of George, like, since your favorite band was like Depeche Mode, right?
Ah,
I think of like 80s dancing.
interpretive
Like
dance.
the movie, like The Wedding Singer.
Yeah. Where
That's
did you
what I
get
think
met? A long time ago. One of the first, the first couple times we met, you were sitting with Michael, and I made fun of that. What do you call that? That dance music?
EDM.
EDM.
Michael loves it more than I even.
You
do.
guys both like wanted to break my head. You know, I'm like, oh, it was a joke. Mm-hmm. Can you dance to EDM? You can dance, right?
Of course
Heck
you
yeah.
How do you dance to EDM?
Or just like you dance to anything else. You
Like
dance to the
super
beat,
fast, right?
you
A
know?
lot of head bobbing.
Okay.
Not all of it is super fast though.
You can actually dance super slow to EDM, you know? Because it's like in your brain, you're in slow motion.
I guess.
Play an EDM song right now. You'll see what I mean. You know, you got a little background going on besides the beat. Play some EDM.
Love it.
They got not only do they have the beat, but they've got the like, you know, all the other
Yeah.
stuff. You
Bring
know,
back Funky Town. Come on.
we were gonna go to the Dead Mouse concert, or he was at like a festival out here last
That's
year.
how Dead Meow has his
Yes.
name on
Yeah.
Twitter.
Yes, because Cap
Always wonder
didn't
why that was
know.
his name.
Oh, you didn't know that?
I didn't
Oh
know
my
that. I
gosh,
always
we need to
wondered
pull
that.
that
So I
clip
was-
up.
What's his name?
So I don't remember the guy's name is Dead Mouse, but he
Yeah.
spells it with a 5 at the end. He spells it funky anyway, but there's a 5 at the end. And I said to Cappy, "Can you?" We were talking about like Electric Daisy Carnival is what we were talking about, and I said, "Look at some of the headliners, Cappy. Who do you like out of those?" It was something like that, and then Cappy said, "I said, what's that guy's name?" And he goes, "Dead Meow 5?" And we were howling with laughter, like howling.
Oh
with
yeah, I love
Wow.
Dead Meow 5.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
But Cappy snapped on Beto. Is that real?
Yes. So let me get back to that.
Okay.
What do you
I have
think
to
when
go
he
back
said
in our
this?
group text. Hold on.
Cappy said that? That's real.
That's real.
That was
yes.
actually real. That happened a week before.
Wow.
But I want to find the exchange from yesterday. Hold on. Just give me a second.
I mean, is that Cappy? I mean, that's completely out of
No.
character for the
Oh,
Cappy
no,
I
it's
know.
not. It's
Not if you know.
I joked.
Oh.
I joked with him that this is San Diego Cappy. You know what
Yes.
I'm saying?
Oh,
Like,
Yes.
that's San Diego
when
Cappy.
he was the BMOC. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. Different
Yeah.
Cappy. Okay. Yeah.
So I in the group text I put a story, and Chris responded "not for air Cappy" with like some laughing emojis, and then Beto also wrote "not for air," and then Cappy wrote "what's not for air?" question, And then Beto wrote the name of the story, like what I sent. And then Cappy just went off. Like, he went off and he texted, serious question. Why is Beto in this group chat? I don't have better things to do with my time. Now we had another person to waste time with, something that he's not even involved with.
Wow, really?
George's response, wait, are you serious?
No, wait. No, before we even get to that, Beto responds with a crying emoji, like that he's sad. And then Chris writes, well, I think I just got the open for today. Beto writes, I'll see myself out. Lindsay has someone putting their hands over their face with like a little bit of their eye sticking out. Then I wrote, wait, are you serious? And then he goes, no, you're fine. I'll leave.
Oh, my God.
He's going to leave his own group chat.
And then and then the next thing you see is Beto Duran has left the conversation.
Wow.
And then Cappy called him sensitive.
What happened? Like, what?
But you know what happened?
Made Cappy go crazy?
I mean, because Cappy's just, I don't know. He's on one, apparently.
Okay. Wow.
And what I would say is that Cappy, what the equivalent to what Cappy did, to put it in football terms for you, DeMarco, would be like when you guys are just practicing, no shells, and like the safety took off like your wide receiver's head when he went over the middle.
Oh, God. What was that guy? Oh, it was a running back. The Rams had him. When he snapped on his own receiver and beat him up on the sideline.
There you go.
Did you guys ever see that one?
No, but that's exactly that's a perfect correlation.
Oh, God. I think they were Cincinnati Bengals or whatever. The guy just snapped and they just beat him up for no reason. Yeah, out of the blue. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was just nuts.
Crazy. That's completely out of character for me. Well, or for Cappy. I don't see him doing that.
I think it's been bubbling, I would say. It's like a volcano.
Bubbling is a good way to describe it.
Could Beto ever make you that mad? Beto's cool.
Me? No.
Yeah,
no,
that's
but
what I'm saying.
for some reason he gets to Cappy, and Cappy always says
Beto gets to Cappy.
Yes, he explained in this conversation that he's like, you never let me finish my point. You always talk over me, and you're a bit killer. You don't play along with the bits. And like I think that he's always, it's one of those
Cappy
things.
said this to Beto.
Yes. And
this was on the air.
Is that true?
Yeah, I mean,
does Beto kill bits?
I think Beto killed that bit for sure.
Yeah.
Wait. Let me look. Is he a bit
I don't know
killer?
if that's a constant thing.
Okay.
I'm not around clearly when he's around with Cappy, so there's that.
I get Cappy. I could see where Cappy's coming from, is what I'll say.
And I think Beto would agree with that sometimes, even too.
So you don't.
But
like
I
Beto.
feel like he just
Love
like in the group text, there was no reason to go after him.
Right.
That way.
He was kind of piling on in a time that he didn't need to.
I read to you exactly the conversation. Like, did that warrant that response?
It was
George
out
is
of nowhere.
Like, what happened?
It was out of nowhere.
We actually have a promo of him saying like you killed the bit.
Yeah,
You
play
killed
the
the
promo.
bit.
Play the promo.
By the way, speaking of promos, can we also play the one from Sliwa talking about some guy approaching him about how much he loves the station and then proceeded to tell him about how much he loved Mason in Ireland for like an hour?
Yes.
I'll play the kill the bit one first.
Okay.
A fun way to drive home is with Sedano and Cappy.
Killed the bit. No, I did not kill the bit. You just killed the bit. See, when you say somebody kills the bit, that is officially the death of said bit.
Okay, I'm going to move on.
Dang. Wow.
Bit killer.
Bit killer.
There you go.
Wow.
And then do we have the Sliwa one? Because I want to hear that.
Give me 1 second.
I heard that driving in yesterday, and I legit sent Lindsay a message on my voice text to you need to have.
Called back a
did
second
I call
time.
you?
Yes, he did call me. He called me once.
I called
and
you.
I was away, and then I walked back, and there was a missed call from him, and he called again. It was that important.
I was like, this promo is. It made me laugh out loud. Like
Funny.
It was funny.
How do you?
And
kill
I think
a bit?
it's the Sliwa delivery too that also makes me laugh. Like I think he delivered the joke in a really funny way, which also again was part of the equation. But if you have it, just let me know. But in the meantime,
Travis and Sliwa.
All the way live from LA Live. Coming up tomorrow morning at 10 a.m.
Okay, so I see the mailman. He's not at our complex. He's just, doing his route, his regular route that he's doing. We all kind of smile at each other. And I thought it was kind of a smile thinking, okay, this is definitely the mailman that had called in. I didn't know his name or anything like that. So I go to him, and he's got his phone in his bag.
Okay.
And it's got the app on. So
Okay.
here he is still listening to 710 ESPN. This is probably, at this point, it's during Mason and Ireland show. I say, just to let you know, I'm Alan Sliwa. I do the show with Travis. And he goes, oh, yeah. And then...
What do you say about me?
This is just kind of puts everything full circle. He's like, yeah, man, I listen to all the shows. Man, the Mason and Ireland show. And he basically talked about how much he loved the Mason and Ireland show.
It's the mid-morning spectacular.
It's funny.
Wow.
Like Slee
The
was
mailman.
almost like fishing for a compliment, and the guy goes, "I love that Mason and Ireland show." I love it.
Crazy.
Anyway, I love it. I think it's great. We didn't get a chance, though, to get into actually what I want to talk about here. We got a lot of stuff to come up with still. But we got, is Radio Tinder next?
Yes.
Okay, Radio Tinder's
And then we
next,
got
then
Dr.
Dr. Clapper. We'll try to sneak in the baseball stuff. I still have to ask you about Matthew Stafford, which I talked about like an hour ago, I feel like. But a lot of stuff is happening. So we'll get to all that stuff after Tinder and after Dr. Clapper. But let me remind you, it is the Waba Grill, Sedano, and Cap 4 o'clock hour presented by our friends at Waba Grill here on 710 ESPN. Kids eat free at Waba Grill. Bring your kids in for a free chicken or tofu mini bowl with any entree purchase. Weekdays at 4 p.m. and all weekend long. Restrictions apply. All right, coming up next, award-winning Radio Tinder on 710 ESPN.
Mandala, take it away, producer Lindsay.
Let's see if any of you guys can guess this one. I'm not going to give you any hints. We always play a TV or wrestling theme. Obviously, this one's a wrestling theme.
That's not Snuka, is it?
Nope.
Oh, Jake the Snake.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jake the Snake Roberts.
I didn't remember this being his music.
I mean, he had a couple of them, but this one was more popular.
With him, it wasn't about the intro. It was about the promo and the match.
And the snake.
Yeah.
And the snake, yeah. It wasn't about him walking out.
Remember he had the Cobra? He brought the Cobra to the ring. This is when he was a bad guy.
When he got Savage.
Yeah, and he got Savage. Yes, in the arm.
He bit Savage in the arm. Oh, you should hear the story on YouTube about that. Savage talking to Jake the Snake before he was like, "Are you sure that thing doesn't have any poison in it? You better be sure, man."
Was it Yokozuna that squished the snake?
Yes.
It wasn't it?
He did the butt drop
Yeah.
on it. Yeah.
It wasn't really the snake. It was some,
I was traumatized.
Yeah, I was too.
Yeah, I'm like, he killed it. Oh, my God.
I remember crying. I cried.
They
I was
fired
like, no.
Yokozuna for being fat.
Well,
You know
that's
that?
because,
Yeah.
listen, you watch the behind, what is it called? The Vice, Dark Side of the Ring.
Yeah, love it.
Watch-
Jericho does those.
Yeah. Did you see the one with him on it, Yokozuna?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sad story. Yeah.
It is sad. Anyway.
Yeah.
Radio Tinder time, everybody. All right, so this is a very funny story, and there's not a whole lot to it other than the clip. So, a Michigan man with a suspended license logged into his court hearing via Zoom while he was driving. I repeat, his suspended license hearing while he was driving. So, it turned into a court Zoom call that went viral, and it's about a minute long, but I'm just going to play it for you guys.
Assistant Public Defender Natalie Tate for Mr. Harris, who should be present via Zoom.
Mr. Harris, are you driving?
Actually, I'm pulling into my doctor's office, actually. So just give me 1 second. I'm parking right now.
You stationary?
I'm pulling in right now at this second. Yes, I am.
All right. What are we doing?
Your Honor, we are respectfully requesting an adjournment in this matter.
So maybe I don't understand something. This is a driving while license suspended,
That is correct, Your Honor.
and he was just driving, and he didn't have a license.
Oh.
That is with the charges, Your Honor, yes.
No, I'm looking at
Yes.
his record. He doesn't have a license. He's suspended, and he's just driving.
Oh, God.
That is correct, Your Honor.
I don't even know why he would do that. So defendant's bond is revoked in this matter. Defendant is to turn himself into the Washington County Jail by 6 p.m. today. Failure to turn himself in will result in a bench warrant with no bond.
Isn't that amazing? And the guy's face.
Oh, my God.
If you can see the video, his face when he's like, so wait, let me get this straight. And the guy's like looking stunned. Like, how do you not realize that? How could you be so stupid,
I
right?
would not bail you out.
You got to have pretty big, you know,
And not only that, it's like it wasn't like he was just in his car in the first place. He was literally moving.
You big dummy.
I'm pulling in right about now.
If that was your son, what would you do?
You're on your own, man. You don't deserve to get bonded out.
Oh, my God, that's terrible.
Okay, so while I'm almost certain you guys have never done anything close to this dumb,
Not like that, no.
I was going to ask, have
No.
you ever had to go to court for a traffic ticket before? Swipe left or swipe right? George?
No, swipe left. I've never had to do it.
Well.
Swipe right. Yeah. I've gone to court plenty of time over tickets.
Like, what kind of tickets? You speeder? You
Failure to stop at a stop sign.
I was going to say rolling stop
Rolling
signs.
stops, yeah. I mean, that's just your opinion, you know? I mean, do you have...
It's subjective.
I mean, I'll take the ticket, but I'll tell them I'll see you in court. You know, you got to prove that. Because I know I stopped. You said I didn't, but I'm not going to argue with you.
So did you win?
Yeah. I think I'm like 90%.
No, how
It's
many?
only been like 3 times.
Oh, so
yeah.
what was the other one?
3
Same
times,
thing?
3 different states, yeah.
Always
Yeah.
for the stop sign.
Always for the rolling stop.
Funch or DeAndre, you guys ever been to court for a traffic ticket?
No. Always pay it. Always just pay it.
Yeah.
Just give up.
Well, I think I have to go to court for one because when I went to renew my license, it says that I have I think it was like a stop sign thing too. And in Chatsworth, and I was like, I've never even been to Chatsworth before. How did they screw something like that up? But it's so old. Wow. It's from like 2017. It's so old that I have to go in person. And like go to court in person.
Wow.
Yeah. I was like, I've never even been there before.
Yeah, enjoy it.
Great times. All right, Funch has the next one.
All right, got a song here. Hit it, DeAndre.
Oh, no. I know what this is. Wow.
All right, guys, that was New York Giants tight end Darren Waller.
Oh.
And his new song, Who Knew?
What are we doing?
Who Knew He Can Sing? It was supposedly about his breakup with WNBA star Kelsey Plum, and people are saying like it's a lookalike in the video of her, and it doesn't
Kinda. Loose lookalike.
Yeah,
Yeah.
loose lookalike. Yes. So no swiping left or right here. DeMarco, what's going on here? What is going on?
I don't know. What is he doing? What are you doing?
Yes, what are you doing?
What is this? Have you seen this, George? He's got a full-on music video.
I've heard about it, but I've never seen it.
Wait
No,
until
that's
you
the
see
first
this.
I've even heard it.
It's not. I don't think it's the flex that he thinks it is. Do you? It's
bad.
Yeah,
It's terrible.
yeah. It's Robin Thicke. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is not good.
Like, didn't he ask somebody, like, hey, what do you think about this, man?
I don't know. Heck no. He's a professional tight end, right? He's one of the best. There's no one around him that says no. Anything.
Really?
You know what I mean? No.
Even that bad?
It's
Something
a
that
great
bad?
idea. Sounds good,
Somebody
champ.
had to say no to this.
It sounds good, champ. Sounds great. Absolutely. Perfect. You know he's paying big money for everything. Come on. Oh, my God, that's terrible. Wow.
I'm sorry. When I hear stuff like this, I say athletes should not be doing anything else but just playing ball.
It didn't sound that bad. It's the whole thing is just bad. Like, you should not be doing this. This is horrible. Wow.
He's too good for this.
Exactly.
He is too
Wow.
good for this.
Wow.
Well, this one's going to go down for the ages, along with, I don't know, maybe Shaq rapping. But Shaq was actually good.
Shaq was really good.
Oh,
Shaq
Shaq
was
can rap.
really good.
Shaq can rap.
Right, he
Yeah.
can rap, but like it's famous. This one, I guess, more so infamous. You
Yeah.
know?
I miss the Fushnikins, though.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Yeah. Remember the Fushnikins? Yeah.
I just don't understand why guys think like, oh yeah, I'm going to put out It's one thing with the raps, but like this singing where it's all auto-tuned because he clearly doesn't have a good voice. It sounds kind of like Dave, right? You know that show Dave?
Yeah.
On Hulu? It sounds kind of like him, I think.
I mean, it's corny because it's him. you
Right,
know?
and the video's bad,
And the
too.
videos,
Yeah.
like, it's...
And then what's going on? It's
Yeah,
Kelsey Plum
it's
and all
not
that stuff.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a good
You're
look.
trying to send her a message, and it's just like, no, man, no.
You're going to have to catch 25 touchdown passes.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Penalty.
25 touchdown passes. Then I'll forget the video. Yep.
All right, one more here. So Jennifer Lopez was recently in talks for a $90 million Las Vegas residency, but that blockbuster deal now looks like it's shaky at best, as her new album and upcoming concert tour are flopping very badly. So Lopez recently had been in talks with MGM Grand on a guaranteed $90 million, $1 million a show for 90 dates starting next year. But ever since her album, This Is Me, which came out in February, had very low sales, and they've had to actually cancel 7 of her concert tour dates so far because nobody's buying tickets. I wanted to ask you guys, do you know anyone who now, in 2024, would pay to go see J-Lo in concert? Swipe left or swipe right? DeMarco, you go first.
If I swipe right, that says what?
That says, yes, you do know someone who would.
Oh, then swipe left. I think. I mean, it's never come up. I mean, I don't know if they're J-Lo fans. But I don't know anybody that goes gaga over J-Lo stuff.
More so
Yeah.
in general in 2024. What is she doing? Like
I don't know.
Like
Because I had housewives
read the room here.
going to see Taylor Swift.
Right.
They were more excited than their kids. People
Exactly.
go bonkers over Beyonce. I can't say that I've met anyone that has that same sort of love for Jennifer Lopez, especially now.
Or even half of that.
Even
maybe
half
a
of that,
small
yeah.
percentage of that.
You, George? I'm sure there's somebody. I just don't know him.
I don't know any J-Lo fans.
Yeah, I'm sure there's
I
somebody.
mean, look, I know I haven't seen her perform in a really long time, but there was a time 5, 6, 7 years ago where she was selling out every arena she was in. You know what I mean? Like, now I think the reality is, if the album isn't good, then I think that it's tougher to sell out those venues. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I think that it's not like.
Does she have a
she's
song?
Not one, she's not
She has a
one
new
of the,
album and nobody even knows about
Does she
it.
have a song? Is there a song?
I haven't heard a
She
song
has a
on
new
the
movie,
radio.
too.
Yeah, and it's also even worse.
I'm not interested in seeing the movie. Are you guys?
I kind of
No.
want to watch it.
You do?
I
Okay.
watch it.
All right.
I
But
watched.
the re-
Go ahead,
the-
sorry, George.
The problem is this: is that I don't know anyone. Like, I know she puts on a good show. Like, if you went, I'm guessing you'd be entertained, because she's good in concert, right? Like she dances a ton, like she's got crazy like stuff going on at the concert.
I thought she did good at the Super Bowl with what's her name?
Right,
Yeah.
with Shakira a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Like she's a good performer, but I think the reality is there's not like a J-Lo catalog where I say to myself, "Oh, I need to go see J-Lo every time." You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, she's not like even Madonna in her 60s. Like, of course, Madonna's got a catalog that's 45 years old.
And
You know
she's a
what I mean?
legend.
Like, so right, people are gonna go see her. You know, so. She doesn't even have like the catalog of a Britney Spears. Is kind of my point. You know what I mean? Not that
What's her most popular song?
Probably wait.
Jenny from the Block?
Jenny from the
Is it
Block,
Jenny
right?
from the
For
Block? That's a
tonight.
long time ago.
I know, it was like 20 years ago.
Waiting
Nothing
for
else?
tonight.
Waiting for tonight.
On the Floor is a good song.
On the Floor, that's the one. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The one with Ja Rule.
Love Don't Cost a Thing
Oh,
is
Love
a good
Don't
one.
Cost
Those
a
are
Thing,
old.
that's
Those are
probably-
old songs.
Old songs. Okay.
But again, there's not like a ton of them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I saw her in Vegas when she had a residency.
And
it was
The
good.
first time.
Good show. It was good. It was pretty good.
Okay.
Where was it?
It was, I want to say, Planet Hollywood.
Okay, probably a smaller venue.
Yeah, a smaller venue. But you know what? If you see her one time, that's all you have to do. That's it.
That's it?
That's it.
Yeah, I don't
better
think
than
of
that.
her.
Okay.
I don't think of her as a repeat person that I got to see more than once.
I don't even
you know?
see her as a first-time
Fair enough.
person. I just feel
Really
like
good show. Really, it was a really good
Oh,
show.
I bet.
I'm sure
I
it
bet
was.
it was a great show.
I just feel like, for MGM to guarantee her $90 million, like now in 2024, like I don't know what especially when you have to cancel tour dates because people aren't buying tickets. I just feel like she's lost her relevance,
Perhaps. You know?
And now
but-
her and Ben breaking up or whatever.
Did they break up?
Well, their
yeah.
marriage is on the rocks, and she just, I mean, right before Ben, like her and Alex Rodriguez broke up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's been a weird.
Ben should listen to his friends because they
Oh.
said this was going to happen.
Right.
They told him this was going to happen.
A whirlwind for her, but I don't
Wow.
know. Anyway, Radio Tinder is presented by our friends at Tequila Mandala. Always swipe right on Tequila Mandala, award-winning small batch premium sippy tequila made from the finest mature agaves available everywhere fine tequilas are sold. Visit their website, tequilamandala.com, and demand the extraordinary with Tequila Mandala. Dr. Clapper is going to join us for his weekly appearance in just a moment. But before that, let me tell you about my home away from home. LAX at Los Angeles International Airport. Changes are arriving daily to reduce traffic, save travelers time, and transform the traveler experience. The LAX Economy Parking structure is now open with thousands of smart parking spaces, as well as hundreds of EV charging stations. Modernized terminals have biometric gates for faster boarding. Who doesn't want to get to their flight faster? And for your friends and family visiting a new facility, we'll have all major rental car brands under one roof. And in the future, the People Mover train will connect travelers to LA Metro. For more information, go to their website, flylax.com. That's for more information. Their website, flylax.com. Oh, yeah. Knocking the boots. Yo, D, what do you know about knocking the boots?
Everything. What
by
you know about
H-Town.
knocking boots? Come on. This was the cut.
What you know about H-Town, D?
Everything.
No, little D, not big D.
Oh.
Man, I know about the H-Town. I know about this song.
No, you don't.
Okay.
No, you don't. How can you know about this song?
Man, I got some old school parents.
I'm kidding.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, that's probably how you got here.
He's so young, his parents listen to this.
It's probably how he got
Seriously.
here. Yes, I know.
This was in 1993, the #1 song on the R&B charts. H-Town, knocking the boots.
Wait, what year were you born?
DeAndre, what year were you born?
I was born in 1998.
Oh, my God.
That's what I'm saying. This was a dorm room thing. If
There
you
you
heard
go.
this on the outside, do not knock.
Were you in Washington back then, DeMarco?
Yes, right there. Seattle. I still can't believe they put us in a co-ed dorm.
What?
Oh.
The football
They
team?
put the football
I'm
players
sorry.
in a co-ed
What?
dorm. Yep.
Was that like a recruiting perk?
I have
you
no
know?
idea, but it was yeah. Anyway, move on.
All right, let's talk to Dr. Clapper.
Well, I know a lot about the hip, but not the hop.
Yes, sir, Doc.
Dr. Clapper. How are you, Dr. Clapper?
How are you? I'm doing great. Oh, my gosh, that music's amazing. I knew about Run DMC when they would just walk DMC.
Oh, there you go.
No doubt.
There you go. You helped them run, probably, with the surgery. You know what I'm saying? There you go.
That's right. That's right.
So, Dr. Clapper, what do we got today? What do you got for us today? Because I'm curious to learn about a sports injury today from you.
Well, you know, what's great about this show and with the fans in L.A. and everywhere else that they listen to you, George Sedano, is that we're talking about trailblazers. And Lonzo Ball is truly going to be doing something that's never been done before on the NBA basketball court, which is to come back from a meniscus transplant. Meaning we used a cadaver, a dead person's meniscus, as the new meniscus in his knee, and he's going to come back from that. So I wanted to give you a Clapper vision, and it involves cars. So I'm going to give a shout-out to Keys Toyota and Dave Parada, who took care of me yesterday, because it involves what's known as the rubber gasket. That is that bolt that's underneath the oil pan that keeps the oil from leaking. Why am I talking about a rubber gasket? Because look at the shape of the rubber gasket. It's made of rubber because the bolt is metal, the oil pan is metal. You need that rubber to keep it from leaking. Well, if you look at the shape of our meniscus, and everybody feel their knee is bent, feel your kneecap, and now swing over at the 6 o'clock of your kneecap. If your kneecap's a clock, feel 6 o'clock, and then go, as you do, swipe right and swipe left, swipe right, and you feel a soft, mushy part. That's the joint line. That's where the meniscus, that cushion between the femur and the tibia. But it's the shape of this meniscus that's fascinating because it literally looks like the rubber gasket. It's fat on the outside and gets thin as it goes towards the center of the knee, just like the rubber gasket.
Dr. Clapper, which part? So if I'm touching my knee right now, okay?
Yeah.
6 o'clock, as in the top of my knee, like closer to my body, or 6 o'clock? You mean down at the bottom? The bottom
of right. Think of your kneecap, that round circle, as a clock.
Yeah.
12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 9. Feel 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then if you go to the right horizontal and to the left, you're feeling the medial and lateral meniscus, the joint line.
Yeah.
And it's the shape of the meniscus that's fascinating. So my Toyota truck, which I used to go surfing and carry the marble I like to sculpt in, needs a different size gasket than a Toyota Corolla, for example. You can't have the wrong size washer, the wrong size gasket, right? So when Lonzo Ball needs a new meniscus and we're using a cadaver, and I'm telling you the meniscus keeps the synovial fluid, which is like the motor oil, in the knee joint. That's why we can run and jump 1 million steps a year and not wear out our joints. It's because of the motor oil, the synovial fluid. There's less friction in our knee than 2 ice cubes rubbing together. That's the miracle of our body. But you better be using the correct size meniscus from the cadaver, because if it's not perfect, it's like having the wrong size gasket for your oil pan from the wrong type of car.
They had to get the same size guy?
Yeah, exactly, DeMarco. You need to have the same shape, because if it's not the same shape, then it will leak and it'll end up having less motor oil, synovial fluid, and you will fail and end up with an arthritic knee. So
they
the
had to
Clapper
find
vision.
a dead guy that was like the same size.
Like
height.
6'6".
Wow.
Right, yeah.
That's got to be a
So this
tough
is
task.
new. This is new. So they're doing cadavers on meniscus, because I just heard, who was it? Penny Hardaway said if he didn't have the microfracture, that was the other thing they used to do back in the day for meniscus, that he'd still be playing. So this is the new one. Okay.
This is a new one because, DeMarco, there's 2 kinds of cartilages in the knee. The meniscus is the rubber cartilage. Feel your ear right now, that rubberness of your ear. That's fibrocartilage. That's the same material the meniscus cartilage is made of. But the microfracture, the arthritis cartilage, is the second kind of cartilage that's in your knee, and that's different. They're both called cartilage, which is why it's very confusing. But the microfracture is, here's another Clapper vision for you. You ever see these giant lawns like at Pepperdine, that beautiful lawn that slopes to Malibu to the sea?
Yeah.
Well, if the sprinkler is out, there's going to be a brown spot on that beautiful lawn. What do they do to fix that? They punch holes in the grass. They aerate the lawn. Well, in essence, we use a pick, like for the lawn, and punch tiny little holes in the divot that we see in the cartilage on the end of the bone, microfracture, microscopic divots, to encourage cartilage to grow out like the seedlings of the grass so that the new cartilage, articular cartilage, will grow. It's different than the meniscus.
So, Dr. Clapper, obviously it's never been done before.
Correct.
So we don't have like any actual data as to how this could potentially work, but it goes to show you the gravity of where Lonzo Ball's career is at this stage and where his body is, and the gravity of how bad his body has betrayed him at this stage of his life.
That's correct. He's had, I think, 3 knee surgeries, and he talks about it in an interview about the multiple surgeries where they kept trimming and trimming and trimming his meniscus to the point that he had no more to trim. And so this latest procedure was a meniscal transplant, which is very exciting for me because it's like Aaron Rodgers having a speed bridge for his Achilles tendon. It's exciting for what we can do now with rotator cuff surgery, where we can do Tommy John. You know, George, you know the term PEDs, performance-enhancing drugs. Well, I need us to have on the Sedano and Cap show the concept of PESs, performance-enhancing surgeries. What was career-ending in the past is now saving careers. No longer the Sandy Koufax blowing out your elbow. Nope, you can have Tommy John be back. Gale Sayers tear his ACL, career over. Nope, you can now come back from your ACL reconstruction. And now a meniscal transplant. I'm so excited to see how this goes.
Dr. Clapper, so are we, because I want the young man's career to continue to evolve because he was playing really well before the last injury. He really was starting to shoot the ball really well, and we know how great a point guard he is. And defensively, he was one of the better players in the sport. So for his sake, man, I hope that that's the case. But thank you for the information as always. You're the best, Dr. Clapper.
Thanks so much for having me. Good to talk to you, DeMarco and George. And thanks, Lindsay.
See you, bud.
That is awesome. For guys like me, that is awesome. Really.
Whenever you guys ask me if I know the hip, this is for you guys.
I know a lot about the hip, but not the hop.
I like it.
Oh, it's a great drop.
I like
Good
it.
job, DeAndre. There you go. All right. Thanks to Dr. Clapper for that. I do have a little more on Lonzo that I'd like to get into, just because we were just talking about him with Dr. Clapper.
I just saw him on Twitter doing a one-legged squat calling out Stephen A. Smith.
That was a while back. But
was that a while back? Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was a while back. But nonetheless, I want to talk about that. I want to talk about this insane thing that happened during the Dodger game that's still being discussed 2 or 3 days later. And then I haven't asked you anything about the NFL stuff that I wanted to get to. And I don't know if you know this, DeMarco, but we only have one more.
You
let's
better
call
get
it like
to it.
like a segment and a half is basically what we got. All right, so that's basically what we got. All right, so stick around. DeMarco's in the house, 710 ESPN.
Sedano and Cap for your afternoon right now on 710 ESPN.
It's time for what you need to know.
Let's do it. What you need to know right now.
What you need to know is brought to you by Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. Good times, less than 90 minutes from wherever you are. Take it away.
Okay, so what you need to know is that California is going to legalize human composting by 2027.
Wait. Human composting?
That is correct. Which
So you're saying like throw like a human in like a life-size Lomi?
no,
We're gonna
no,
put grandma
it's-
and grandma in the backyard.
no, it's more so
I mean, I gave Cappy's daughter a Lomi.
You did. It's more so environmentally friendly caskets, for lack of a better way to describe it.
Oh,
Where
okay.
they're pods that you would have your remains buried in that would be easily they would be easily compostable.
Yeah.
Inside, right.
But
Correct.
not on your property.
Well,
They have to go to a certain area.
you would yes, you would still have to, but the idea
Oh,
is
yeah.
you know, they're gonna have like separate areas. It's not like a cemetery per se, or it's a different type of cemetery. It's a sanctioned area.
Yeah.
But the idea being like we're running out of space to
Oh,
put
boy.
dead bodies on Earth.
Wow.
And so unless you start burying people on top of people, you got to figure out where you're going to put everybody. So this way, it kind of allows you to use. See, that when people bury like their
Pets?
yes, their pets.
Yeah.
I did that with one of my cats when my cat died.
My dad did that
Right.
once too.
I planted a rose bush on top of where he was buried, and it's the most beautiful rose bush in the world, and I call it my little Nemo bush.
Wow.
And I feel like the nutrients, come back, and there's a little part of them in it. So I feel like, with people, you could do the same thing.
All right, there you go. That is what you need to know. Brought to you by Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. Good times, less than 90 minutes from wherever you are. It is still, is it still the Cappy Hour, even though he's not here?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, cool. It's the Tito's Cappy Hour, even though Cappy's not here.
He's probably celebrating right now because, he's got the whole family in town. It's his daughter's
His
graduation.
daughter's graduation.
Which,
Yeah,
congratulations
that's what it was.
to
Yes.
Julia Kaplan. Everybody give her a big shout out
Nice.
on Instagram. Send her some Venmo money, like
Shout
congrats.
out to Julia.
Yeah.
She's going to school, right?
Yeah, she's going to.
Yeah, they're all in college.
Yeah.
Justin's already graduated. But
Yeah, she's going to. Is it Cal Poly?
Is it Poly?
Yes.
Engineering school, right?
Slow. Cal Poly Slow.
Yeah.
Cal Poly
okay.
Slow. Yeah. So
Wow. San
give her-
Luis Obispo,
give
yeah.
her a shout out. Congrats, girl.
Nice.
Even though Cap, he doesn't get to enjoy the dinner afterwards. That's okay.
I would
Yeah, he
crash.
told us the story. They're going to dinner with his ex-wife.
Yeah, he should crash it.
Wouldn't you crash it, George? I would. I would
No.
show up.
Not me.
If I'm paying for it.
Honestly, if I had
come
an
on.
ex-wife, the chances of me wanting to be around said ex-wife would probably be slim and none, other than if the children needed me to be around. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
if they chose as adults, for the most part, to want to be with their mom, hey, that's great, dude. Go be with your mom. That's
I think
cool.
I'm making a scene.
I think he's going to show up because he just dyed his hair. He got his hair dyed yesterday.
Did he really?
He did.
He did. It was a little
Wow.
too dark, even by his own admission.
No way. Okay.
Yeah.
He's trying to look good and be like, look what you missed out on.
I see you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty not great, is what I would say.
The hair?
From the
It's too
picture
dark.
I saw.
It's too
yeah.
dark.
Really?
It's not
Not very natural
Was it
looking.
jet black
All
or
right.
something?
Yeah, it's
Pretty
not
bad.
good. All right, so DeMarco, the
Yeah.
Dodgers played the Mets, and they got good against the Mets. They had a 5-game losing streak. They sweep the Mets. But the story that's come out of that is
Slump
Jorge
buster.
Lopez.
Yeah.
Okay, the pitcher for the Mets, and the Mets have been a disaster this year. So he gets furious. He throws his glove into the stands, and then he has in his post game, he gets interviewed by SNY, which is kind of like their Spectrum, right? The Mets channel. And he's asked about kind of what's going on, right? And he was asked about the team and what's going on and why he threw his glove and all the stuff that's been transpiring and how they've kind of spiraled out of control. So here's what Lopez says. Again, Jorge Lopez English is his clear second language, okay? It is not his first language. So I'm going to let you listen to what he was asked and what he said, and we can take it from there. Go ahead.
Carlos Mendoza said that he understands the emotion, but that particular action of throwing your glove into the stands was unacceptable. Looking back on it, do you regret doing that?
No, I don't regret it. I think I've been looking the worst team probably in the whole MLB. So, whatever happened. So, whatever they want to do it, I'll be tomorrow here if they want me. Whatever they want to do. So, I'm gonna keep doing this thing. So I'm healthy on whatever. On whatever to do. I'm ready to come back tomorrow. If they want me to be here, so I'll be here.
I hear what you're saying, but it sounds bad, George.
Right, but what people thought that he said was that I'm playing for the worst team, the worst bleeping team in MLB.
Because that is what he said.
No, it's not.
That's what I heard.
Right, but he said teammate.
I know
is what he said.
However,
but what I heard was team.
What a lot of people have not seen on social media is the reporter, which again, I understand to your point, things may be getting lost in translation, but the reporter then followed up and asked him to clarify. So this is what he said to that.
Just to clarify what you said, just because I didn't fully understand. Did you say I'm on the worst team? Is that what you had said?
Yeah, probably. It looked like.
And that they were embarrassed by you? Is that what you?
Yeah, they do.
So can't really debate
No,
that.
I mean they are. Well, I mean that part of it is inarguable though because they are one of the worst teams in baseball.
True.
Like that. But what he said initially was, and again, Lindsay, it's hard for you to understand. I'm not trying to
No, I do understand, but I'm saying I feel like he
the guy doesn't speak English very well. You know what I mean? Like that. So even the response, he's hearing that. Are you saying you're on the worst team in MLB? And if you notice, he says, yeah, I mean, maybe, probably, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's not. He thinks he's answering a separate question in that scenario.
It just sounds bad.
Right.
I believe you, George. It just sounds terrible.
I don't know if he's backtracking in the immediacy of it. He's not really backtracking if he's saying, yeah, we're probably one of the worst teams.
No, I'm saying like now after the fact.
Well, because I think his original comment was him saying teammate. And again, because he doesn't speak English like someone who speaks English as their first language, that is how it comes out.
Was he DFA'd?
He was.
Yeah.
He was. So he was basically fired for this.
Well, I mean, it was the whole debacle.
I think
not
the
just
glove
that.
thing probably.
See, to me, fired when he says do you regret throwing your glove? And he said
no.
That's
right
there.
where he gets fired.
We could stop right there. And then, I mean, even if you are on the worst team in whatever sport you're playing, you should never say that in the media. You have to be professional.
To his point, last week when the Mets were in Cleveland alert, and Francisco Lindor came back to Cleveland because, he came up, was drafted by them, and signed a deal with the Mets, I don't know, a couple of years ago anyway. They're playing very badly, and the reporters in Cleveland were asking Francisco Lindor, hey, what do you miss the most about Cleveland? And he goes, winning. So that tells you a lot about the culture of that team right now.
It's not very, I'm sure. There's nothing worse than being on a bad baseball team. When it's
yeah,
horrible.
I just think that the thing of him saying the first comment was him talking about himself, and it got misconstrued as he was talking about his team because of a language barrier.
Yeah, I mean,
and he's then and by the way, he wasn't the first one to say, like, other people in the immediacy of it were saying that, and nobody wanted to hear it, and then he then clarified on Instagram, I guess.
Does he usually do interviews in English? I've never heard the guy speak before. I mean,
I don't either. I don't follow the Mets that closely to know.
Where's the PR
but I can
guy?
But you can clearly tell he doesn't speak English like someone it's their first language.
True. I see it, just like I said, if I'm just looking at it or just hearing it for the first time without actually seeing the video, it sounds like he says, I'm on the worst team. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I get what it sounds like.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you to me, I heard it the first time and heard what I heard, which was he's talking about himself. But I can understand someone that doesn't speak another language, like not seeing it or hearing it the same way I heard it.
But I'm not trying to be a jerk here. I'm just saying, to be clear.
Usually that prefaces something.
Well,
that's like when someone says that. Hold on. That's like when someone says, "No offense, but."
No offense, but didn't he also say he does not regret throwing his glove?
Well, yeah. That part he
So, I
doesn't
mean,
regret. He was pissed.
That's just that's pretty bad. Saying no, I don't regret
Well, no,
it. And if he was
but-
remorseful,
But he said in the same comment he was not remorseful about it. And if they gotta, if they want me here, that's great.
Yeah.
If they don't, that's fine too.
I'm just saying
So,
he's trying to like justify what he did. Like, no, I'm not
Yeah.
sorry about
I think
it.
they told him one more time and you're out, and he did it anyway. That's what it sounds like. I don't think this is something that just happened. Especially if you're on a bad baseball team. There's been a lot going on that we don't know.
Yeah, I just think that, again, and look, I just credited Rob Manfred yesterday because I think what he did with the Negro Leagues and integrating their stats into the Major League Baseball database, which has changed a number of statistical categories historically, I gave him a lot of applause for that. And I do think I give him a lot of applause for opening the game up internationally, right? Even more Hispanic, more Asian countries are involved, more players. Like, I think, Manfred has made some mistakes. Clearly, the Astros thing is always going to be a black eye. But I think that he's done more good than people give him credit for. I do think, though, that there's 33% of the league is Hispanic, right? So what I'm saying is every team should probably have someone, an interpreter, and maybe the Mets do. I don't know because I don't know their team, that can help in that situation and just be like, hey, hold on, and ask him in Spanish. Are you sure this is what you're saying? You know what I'm saying? Or by the way, why didn't a Spanish reporter jump in there? Because I would have done that. I would have said, hold on a second. Whoa. Jorge, tú estás diciendo que el equipo es el equipo más el equipo peor aquí en Major League Baseball. And again, I don't speak perfect Spanish either, but I would have asked him in Spanish. You know what I'm saying? Like, tú estás hablando del equipo o estás hablando de ti? I would have asked him that, and then that could have clarified it in the immediacy of it.
Right. There's some things that just don't translate sometimes. I see it with boxers. When they're trying to say something or derogatory and it just comes off wrong, you're not saying it properly. We get it. We understand it. But I don't know if this guy does his interviews in English most of the time, or does he have a translator with him? But clearly something was lost in that translation there. But the first thing he said was actionable. I don't regret throwing a glove. If this was your last straw, then yeah, you're going to get DFA'd, and you're telling people you don't care. That's what he said. If I'm here tomorrow,
that part
I'm here. If I'm
those
gone,
are
I'm
two
gone.
Separate things, right? Like, I think is what I'm saying.
Is there like a rule against? And I'm being honest. Is there like a rule that says?
Is there a rule about throwing your glove? I'm fairly certain. I don't think you can
Everybody
just
has a
launch
rule.
anything into the stands.
Well, you can. People throw balls up in there to give them to fans all the time, and I know it's a completely different situation. I'm ignorant, so I'm honestly asking.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm assuming you can't just projectile stuff like. I'm sure you could lob a ball into the stands for a fan to catch.
Right.
But I don't think you could launch a ball into the stands. You know what I'm saying?
From the windup.
And I understand why he got ejected, but again, bigger picture here, is that something where if that was all it was, should he really be getting cut? If he was just angry in the moment?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, again, the defiance probably doesn't help there. You know what I'm saying? I think that probably plays a huge factor in this equation. But, it just kind of is what it is because his numbers were not awful this year. You know what I'm saying? He was, fine.
He was
I guess.
okay on a bad team.
Yeah, the Dodgers could use some bullpen help, right?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. I mean, he was fine. I mean, his ERA is under 4. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's not he's not a terrible pitcher. He's not had a great career to this point, but this year he was actually not pitching all that bad. And by the way, I did find this out, and this is completely separate from it. And I saw this because it was also up on the internet. He's also dealing with some crazy family stuff right now. Like he's got a kid that's on like a transplant list.
Oh, no.
Not to justify anything, but he's clearly having, some rough goes, of it, And he's a one-time All-Star, I guess. So, I mean, he's probably worth looking at if you're another team,
Yeah, the MLB.com writer for the Mets, he wrote, I want to be clear about this. Jorge Lopez was not DFA'd because of any, quote, teammate confusion. He was DFA'd because he embarrassed the organization with his actions and words, throwing his glove into the stands, lying about meeting with management, and offering zero remorse.
Oh, there you go.
I don't know about the
end of story
part,
right there. Yeah. Okay. See, there's more than we know.
He said, that's it. That's the whole thing. Regardless of what actual words he said, he swore multiple times on camera after having an hour plus to cool off post-game. His tone was clear and obvious and the furthest thing from contrite. Mets officials found it unacceptable.
Bing. Bye.
I mean, I guess.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I mean, I don't know. I honestly,
you got to be a pro.
I'm not disputing that part of it. But what I'm saying is, you know this, DeMarco, okay? If the quarterback says something on your team and the guy who is playing special teams says something on your team, it's going to be treated differently.
True.
Yes?
Yeah,
if they say the exact same thing.
To a certain extent, yes. If you can be replaced, you can be replaced. If you're not, you're going to be reprimanded. But
so I do think that. And again, I don't know what he didn't lie about. I'm just speaking about this particular instance. I don't think anybody did him any favors there, is what I would say. So, I would have, again, if I were in that clubhouse, as someone who speaks Spanish, I would have clarified with him in his native language and been like, are you saying what we think you're saying? Are you talking about the team or are you talking about yourself as the worst? And just ask that one question. And that would clarify a lot.
For that statement. But they said it's
Correct.
not about what he said. It's
throwing the glove was a big part of it.
Right.
And whatever, I guess lied about meeting with team officials. I don't even know. I mean, who knows if that's true or not? That's a he said, she said situation.
You think teams lie?
Well, the ML, he's the Mets reporter for MLB.com. Those guys are usually fed the company line right from the team.
Teams don't lie.
I mean, there is that part of it too. So, wow. Anyway, all right, we're done here. We got one more segment to go, DeMarco. But I swear to God, I'm going to ask you the football questions now.
Okay, go ahead.
And then, do you have a dealer's choice? Your chair's supposed to have a dealer's choice.
She just asked me that. Yeah, you asked me about the Mandy's too. See?
You have one?
Of course I do.
Okay, fair enough. Then we'll get to that in just a second. But first, let me tell you about NextGen, the official AC heat and plumbing company of SoCal sports fans, because there's responsibilities sitting in that chair, unbeknownst to most people. I don't know if you know this, but now you know. That's right. NextGen is the absolute best in the biz. Thousands of 5-star reviews online to prove it. And let me tell you about my review. I had a slow drain issue. They came in, drain cleaning, camera inspection, only $44. You can get the same deal. Call what I called. Call NextGen at 833-3NEXTGen. That's 833-3NEXGEN. And get this, if you have an AC or heat problem, and by the way, it's about to get really, really hot soon. So you might want to check your AC, and you can do this for only $44 as well. You can get a 28-point full heat and AC safety inspection and tune-up for only $44. They'll even throw in a free air filter. No extra charge. All right? So if you're sick of dealing with a slow drain, you get the drain cleaning with the camera inspection for only $44. If you want to make sure your AC or heater is running right, you get the 28-point full heat and AC safety inspection for only $44, including the tune-up and a free air filter, all by calling my friends at NextGen. What are you waiting for, man? 833-3NEXTGen. Make sure your stuff is running right, man. 833-3NEXGEN. NextGen includes water, plumbing, heating, and AC safety inspections, as I mentioned. Say goodbye to all your AC heating and plumbing problems thanks to my friends at NextGen. NextGen is the only name you need to remember for a safe and comfy home. So any problems? Call them. 833-3NEXTGen. That's 833-3NEXGEN. Or visit them online at nextgenairandplumbing.com. All right, final segment of the program.
Luca,
all right?
I got like 4 TVs, and I got hockey going. I got baseball. I keep seeing Luca highlights. I'm in heaven right now.
All right, well, that's great. Well, we only got one more segment to go, and you have to have a dealer's choice because that's part of the way this thing works.
Yeah.
So we got one more segment to go before we turn it over to the Western Conference Finals, Jack.
Wow.
That was like a millisecond away from stepping on it, but I think you pulled it off.
I love that game. It's awesome.
And I threw in a jack at the end just to be gratuitous.
Like it.
Just to show off how good I am at hitting the post.
Yes, sir.
Morales, you're not the only one. All right, DeMarco, before we get to that, I have a couple of quick rapid-fire football questions for you. How about, you know what, D, find me some, I should have told you this before, give me some NFL music so I can get revved up here to talk to DeMarco. In the interim, look at you, that was quick.
Right there.
Matthew Stafford's contract.
Yes.
What the hell's going to happen? Go.
I think there's a middle ground for both.
Okay, and for those that don't know, after this year, there's no more guaranteed money, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
In a nutshell, he's got a lot of leverage right now. But he's the leader of the football team. He is there. So there is a right way to do these things, to do business. This could get ugly if both sides if it was contentious. It could get bad, but it's not about ego. They will do the right thing by Matthew Stafford. They really appreciate him in Los Angeles.
Okay, fair enough. Next question for you. On average, 5 teams that make the playoffs, if you go back the last 30 years, basically, 25, 30 years, 5 teams that made the playoffs the previous season don't make it the following season, okay?
Yeah.
So here are the teams that made the playoffs last year. Niners, Cowboys, Lions, Bucks, Eagles, Rams, Packers in the NFC, Ravens, Bills, Chiefs, Texans, Browns, Dolphins, Steelers in the AFC. Take 5 teams out.
Oh, my God. Right now?
I can do them for you. Ready?
Go ahead.
Bucks. I think Atlanta wins that division, okay? I don't think the Cowboys make the playoffs this year. How about that?
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's 2.
That makes you
Hot
happy.
take.
It does.
Okay.
That's 2.
I mean, it's rather early, but go ahead.
In the AFC,
yeah,
I think Houston doesn't make the playoffs this year.
You think so?
Yeah.
You don't believe in it, huh?
No, it's not that I don't believe it. It's just that they're playing a first-place schedule now.
Yeah.
So
good
that's
football
harder.
team. Yeah.
I don't think the Steelers make the playoffs this year.
Who's the
Yeah,
quarterback?
they snuck in. They snuck in last year.
Right, they snuck in. Russell Wilson is going to be the quarterback, and they will be – listen, the Steelers will be better than they were last year and still not make the playoffs because they play in the toughest division in the sport. Remember, Cincinnati almost made the playoffs without Joe Burrow last year. So, like that division, and then you got the Browns in there. I'm going to do it, Lindsay.
Go ahead. Do it.
Nah, I'm just kidding.
I said in DeMarco's ear, I was like, watch, he's going to say Cleveland.
No, I'm not going to say Cleveland. That was too obvious. It was too obvious.
Cleveland!
It was too
This is
obvious.
for you! Okay.
Actually, you know the team I don't think they made the Dolphins. How about that? I don't think the Dolphins repeat.
You don't believe in Tua, huh?
I don't. I'm not.
Yeah.
I mean, yes and no. I think there's only so far he can take you. So I think those would be the 5 teams I would replace from year over year.
Fair enough. I mean, look, a lot of things can happen. San Francisco could hit the skids. It's bound to happen.
Injuries play a factor in all
big
this,
time.
and it
You
changes
never
everything.
know. But yes, I think what you just mentioned. As far as Atlanta winning that division, you think so?
Yes.
Really?
Best quarterback by far in the division.
Yeah.
Which one? Dun, dun, dun.
That's what I'm saying.
No, it's going to be Cousins.
That's going to be. See here, Rice. We're
What
gonna
is it?
We're going to get to mid-August, 2 games into preseason, maybe 3, and Penix is going to look great. He's
Never
going
let
to
him
look
see your backup.
fantastic.
You didn't pay a guy $100 million to not play him at all.
Okay, well, you're talking to one over there in Cleveland who's hoping Deshaun
Yeah, they're
Watson
going to
plays.
get rid of him. If he's not
There's
good
been-
after like the bye week, he's gone.
There's
Joe
been
Flacco
mistakes
again.
like this before. Watch. There's going to be a mess in Atlanta over this thing. This is not going to end
I mean,
well.
listen, I'll take it. It'd be great.
No doubt.
fodder, so that's for
Yeah.
sure. All right, so here's 8 new head coaches, okay? Which has the best chance of being one and done? Because there's always a one and done coach, too, it feels like.
Yep.
Dan Quinn in Washington,
Nope.
Raheem Morris in Atlanta, Gerard Mayo in New England, Dave Canales, local boy, shout out to Carson for the Carolina Panthers, Brian Callahan, Tennessee Titans, Antonio Pierce, I know he was there as the interim, but it's his first real year, Vegas Raiders, Mike McDonald, Seattle Seahawks, Jim Harbaugh, Chargers.
Well, it's not going to be Harbaugh. You know
No,
this, right?
you eliminate him.
It's either going to be Pierce or Mayo.
Really?
It's going to be Pierce or Mayo. Absolutely. How do you think Mayo's going to do in New England? Well, they're not expected to do anything.
Anything, right. So the
Raiders have the
expectations
most
are
pressure.
low.
The Raiders there's pressure coming out of Las Vegas.
Is there pressure?
There's pressure coming out of Vegas.
Okay.
Those Raider fans need something
I don't think the Raiders are more than like a 7 or 8 win team max.
Okay, what if they win 3?
Well, then, right. That's
what
bad.
I'm saying, right.
Yeah. That would be bad, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not a terrible pick then, I guess. I
Yeah.
mean, listen, I'll trust
I
you on
wonder
that
how
stuff.
Mayo's going to do in New England. I really do.
I mean, look, the first year doesn't matter who they have. It's going to be rough.
True.
So it is what it is.
Yep.
All right. You got a dealer's choice real quick before we turn it over to basketball?
I asked Lindsay. I'm just making sure I can talk about anything, right?
Yeah. Anything.
Okay,
Dealer's
so
choice.
you ever have one of those moments, George? You like to exercise, right?
Yeah.
And what do you like about exercising?
I feel the way I feel afterwards.
The way you feel after.
Endorphins.
Endorphins. You like the way you feel after a workout. You feel great after a workout.
Yeah.
You know what I like most about working out?
What's that?
I like pushing through the pain. I like pushing through the part where I say, I don't want to do this.
Okay.
Really. I mean, like when you get up and you plan out your workout the day before, what you're going to do, right? I'm going to hit the gym, or I'm going to get up, I'm going to walk, I'm going to run. And then you wake up that morning and you just don't feel like doing it. I heard Travis talk about this. Travis got to a point where he says, you know what, I just don't want to do this anymore. Remember that day? We were all talking about that with Travis? That, to me, is what exercise is not your body. It's pushing your mind beyond doing what you don't want to do. When you stare at your shoes for over an hour saying, damn, I just don't want to do this. The tough part is actually putting the shoes on and going.
I would agree with that.
The workout
Yes.
is easy.
Yes.
Getting out the door is
getting
the hard
out the
part.
door.
Absolutely.
No doubt about it.
So
Yes.
no matter what your brain says, man, everyone has to exercise. You got to take care of yourself. Even if you don't want to do it, get up and do it. There's my
Do
dealer's
it.
choice.
There you go. Get up and do it.
I like that. That's a good one.
Beto, shut up.
Wait,
Sorry,
it wasn't
I had to hit
Beto.
that.
Beto's
I know.
tomorrow, though.
It's still funny, though.
Should I
love
do
it.
that just for the goof?
Yeah,
should.
totally.
I can't
start
believe
the
Cap
show.
did that. That's not Cap. That's not the Scott Kaplan I
All right,
know.
well, you got to get out for
No.
the game. They're throwing it to Dave Pash.
He loves you. He loves you like a big teddy bear. That's why. Great job, DeMarco.
Good
Thank
stuff,
you,
man.
Lindsay. Great job, Lindsay and DeAndre and Funchi as well. All right, we will turn it over to Game 5 of the Western Conference Finals. Dave Pash and